The silence is the worst part. It comes after the screaming, a hollow, ringing void that the sun fills with heat and the dust fills with the coppery tang of fresh blood. Kale presses himself flat against the salt-minus gate rock, the stone chopper in his hand feeling impossibly small, a child's toy. He watches the pack move away, their movements fluid and terrible. They are not mindless beasts. They are the sickle-minus claws, the Utahraptors, and they hunt with a genius that borders on malice. There were 7 of them this time. They drove the herd of small or neither pods straight through the clan's foraging grounds. A calculated chaos, and in the panic, they took Leah's youngest, a shaker of movement, a single, piercing shriek, and then the silence that now suffocates the 15 remaining members of the salt-minus-rock clan. This is the unforgiving rhythm of prehistoric life in a world that was never meant for them. Una, the clan's eldest, makes a soft clicking sound with her tongue. It is the call to gather, slowly. The small figures of Homo habilis emerge from their hiding places. Their forms stoop, their eyes wide with a fear that has become a permanent part of their anatomy. They are people of the edge of the great salt flats, the edge of starvation. Then now, the edge of extinction. Leah is catatonic, rocking back and forth, her hands clawing at the empty space in her arms. No one comforts her with touch. Comfort is a luxury that attracts attention. Instead, they share the space. Their collective grief a thin but tangible shield against the vast, empty horror of the desert. The survival of these ancient humans depends not on their strength, but on this shared, silent understanding. Their short hominid history is being written in blood and dust. The sickle-minus claws do not just kill to eat. They are territorial, and they are cleansing this stretch of desert. Every to sunrises, they test the clan's perimeter. Their chilling, bird-minus-like calls echoing from the mesas. They learn. They remember where the clan finds water, where they dig for roots. They are turning the clan's own survival skills into a map for their destruction. Kale looks at his stone chopper, the crude but life-minus-saving product of their primitive technology. It is good for smashing bone and scraping hide, but against the 9-inch claw of a raptor, it is a prayer offered to an indifferent god. They cannot run. The raptors are faster. They cannot hide. The desert offers no true cover. They are trapped in a slow, methodical slaughter, living proof of what happens when the age of dinosaurs collides with the dawn of man. Una rises, her movement stiff. She ignores the raptors, now just shimmering heat-minus devils in the distance, and turns her gaze to the west, toward the boneyard. It is a place the clan avoids, a vast graveyard where the titans of this prehistoric world come to die. It is said to be haunted by the spirits of colossal long-minus necks and armored mountains. But now, she points a trembling, wrinkled finger toward the bleached horizon. Her eyes, sunken but sharp, meet Kale's. There are no words, only a shared, desperate thought. The open ground is a killing floor. The rocks are just gravestones waiting for names. If they are to survive, they cannot live on the land. They must live in it, or in what remains of it. The journey to the boneyard is a silent, frantic march. Each shadow is a lurking sickle-minus claw. Each gust of wind carries the phantom screech of their calls. The clan moves in a tight cluster, the adults forming a protective ring around the few remaining young. This is a desperate migration driven by the ghost of a half-minus formed idea, a gamble that bets their entire existence on a place of death. When they finally crest the last dune, the sight stills them. It is a landscape from a nightmare. Rib cages the size of huts arched toward the sky. Vertebrae as large as boulders lie half-minus buried in the sand. This is the final resting place of the titans. An open-minus atom where the scale of life and death in this prehistoric world is laid bare. And there, in the center, is the thing Una saw in her mind's eye. It is an Ankylosaurus, a mountain of armor and bone, dead but not yet skeletal. The beast lies on its side, its immense, clubbed tail resting in the dust, its armored back, a mosaic of fused bony plates and osteoderm ears, faces the sky like an impenetrable shield. The stench is a physical blow, a wall of decay that makes the eyes water. Bloated, leathery hide is stretched taut over the immense frame, and swarms of black flies drone in a thick, shimmering cloud. This is not sanctuary. It is a monument to putrescence. Some of the clan recoil, their faces masks of disgust, but Kyle and Duna see past the rock. They see a cave where there is no cave. They see walls where there is only open sand. Una approaches the colossal carcass, her movements deliberate. She finds a seam between two of the great rib bones where the skin has been torn open by some earlier scavenger. She lifts her stone chopper, the primitive technology that defines their kind, and brings it down. The sound is a wet, satisfying thunk as the flint edge bites into semi-miners put ray-feed freshened cartilage. She hacks again, and again. A slab of meat and hide peels away. She has widened the hole. This is the first lesson in a new kind of human evolution, not of the body, but of the mind, the realization that the dead can be made to shelter the living. The work is an atrocity. For days, the clan toils under the brutal sun, their bodies smeared with gore and fluid. They use their simple choppers to hack and saw, their hands to scoop and pull. They tear away ropes of sinew, heave aside massive, stinking organs, and break through the smaller bones of the inner cavity. They are not building. They are excavating. They are hollowing out death itself. The boneyard offers a grim resource. They find that the sharpened edge of a shattered rib works better for slicing than their stone tools. This is the birth of osteodontokeratic technology, a new chapter in their survival skills written in the entrails of a dinosaur. Build a rail. The lookouts watch. The scent of the carcass is an invitation, and the clan must periodically scramble for cover as a pair of pterosaurs circles overhead, their leathery wings casting predatory shadows. That night, they hear the hunting calls of the Utahraptors, closer now, drawn by the smell of this immense feast. They are a race against time and their own exhaustion. Finally, after what feels like an eternity of filth and labor, Kale breaks through the last membrane of tissue and tumbles into the vast, dark space of the creature's chest cavity. The air is thick and stale, but it is cool. The rib cage curves above him like the rafters of a great hall. The thick, armored hide in the interlocking osteoderm is from a roof that the sun cannot pierce. Run by run, the rest of the clan crawls through the narrow opening he has carved. Inside, the terrible sounds of the desert are muffled. The oppressive heat is gone. Leah, who has not made a sound for days, pulls her remaining child close. And for the first time since the attack, a flicker of something other than terror crosses her face. They are inside the Bone Mountain. They are entombed. Yes, but they are hidden. As the first chirping cackle of a hunting raptor echoes from outside, it sounds distant, frustrated. For the first time, there is a wall between the sickle minus claws and the salt minus rock clan. Safety is a cage. Inside the echoing cavity of the Ankylosaurus, the salt minus rock clan is protected from the sickle minus claws, but they are prisoners of their own ingenuity. The meager rations they carried are gone. The closest brackish water pit is a half-minus day's walk away, a journey they cannot risk. Thirst is now a more patient predator than the raptors. For 2 days, they have listened to the pack of Deromayosayors circling their fortress. The scraping of their talons on the thick hide a constant, nerve-minus shredding reminder of their seed. The clan's great act of creation has become a tomb in waiting. They have conquered the problem of shelter only to be cornered by the reality of sustenance. This is the brutal calculus of this prehistoric planet. Every solution breeds a new and more complex problem. It is Kale who notices it first. As the strongest members of the clan lean their backs against the interior curve of the ribcage, exhausted and despairing, the entire immense structure groans and shifts a thumb's width in the sand. A collective gasp fills the darkness. The Bone Mountain is not anchored. It is a dead weight, but it is not immovable. A frantic energy, the first flicker of hope since they sealed themselves inside, ignites the clan. They scramble out of the single, narrow entrance, blinking in the harsh sunlight. The raptors are nowhere to be seen. likely rusting in the midday heat. Now is the chance. Underrun a sharp direction. They align themselves along one side of the colossal carcass. They find purchase for their hands on the knobby edges of osteoderm, is in the thick lip of the hide. At her sharp cry. They push. Their legs tremble. Muscle screaming in protest. The mountain groans, scrapes, and then settles. It has moved, but barely. It is not enough. Their collective strength is too diffused. Una points to a fallen femur from some long-dead sauropod. A piece of bone as long as two of them are tall. Here, the burgeoning use of osteodontokeratic technology takes its next great leap. Kale and others heave the bone into position, jamming one end deep under the carcass's flank. It is a lever, a principle they do not understand but an effect they can feel. They throw their entire weight onto the long end of the bone. With a deafening crack, the ground underneath gives way and the entire fortress lurches forward, sliding a full body minus length across the sand. A ragged cheer erupts from their throats. They have done it. They have made the mountain walk. The process is agonizing. They heave the levers, then scramble to the other side to push, their small bodies working in frantic, desperate unison to shift the tons of bone, hide, and armor. They are ants moving a boulder, a spectacle of audacious, impossible labor. Their celebration is cut short by a series of sharp, interrogative chirps from a nearby mesa. The sickle minus claws have seen them. The pack descends like an avalanche of teeth and claws. Inside, Una shrieks, a command absolute. The clan scrambles for the opening, a chaotic retreat. One of the younger members, OJ, stumbles and falls. The raptor, its jaw snapping, lunges for him. In a flash, Kale makes a hard choice. He shoves the great femur with all his might, not to move the fortress, but to trip the charging predator. The Utahraptor goes down in a tangle of limbs, and Kale uses that single second to haul OT through the opening before diving in himself, pulling a large, prepared slab of fossilized bone over the entrance, just as the pack slams against it. They are safe, and they are no longer trapped. They have found a new way to live slow, exhausting, and perilous, but a way forward. The salt miners rock clan, the people who walk inside a mountain, begins its slow, grinding journey out of the boneyard and into legend. From our vantage point, across the chasm of 3 million years, their struggle seems impossibly distant. A fossilized echo of a life we can barely comprehend, but look closer. In the coordinated heave against a bone lever, see the birth of engineering. In the shared terror and synchronized effort, see the deep origins of society. The salt miners rock clan did not simply survive. They committed an act of profound defiance. They looked upon the brutal architecture of their world, a world of titanic bones and relentless predators, and refused to accept their designated place within it. They did not just find a cave. They took the armor of a dead god and wore it as their own. This single, audacious act of ingenuity, born of desperation, is a microcosm of the entire human story. It is the story of a creature with no natural armor, no exceptional speed, no terrible claws, who decided that the world itself was a resource to be dismantled and reassembled in the service of its own survival. Their victory was not in killing the beast, but in becoming it. This is the moment we stopped being merely prey and began the long, bloody journey to becoming a predator of destiny itself. The chronicle is complete, but the echoes of their footsteps never truly fade. In the green hell of the jungle, a new clan learns that the most dangerous dinosaurs are not always the largest.